I've spoken intensively about the ischemia reperfusion injury, and what I'd like to show you now are a few techniques that you can use for both prehab as well as rehab that will help to mitigate that swelling that I'm talking about and will help to move the swelling and some of the inflammation out so that you have a more optimal healing of the muscle. The first technique I'm going to show you is one that both you and your patient can do, and I've provided a handout for you to follow along. Think about this technique as doing it in 3s and 5s. And basically, at the level of the neck, you're going to simply be moving the skin over the tissue underneath. So I'm going to place my hands on the patient's neck just below the mastoid. And basically, I'm going to follow the sternocleidomastoid down, and I'm going to finish with what I call a sort of a breaststroke technique in the supraclavicular fossa region. Now, this is a take on manual lymphatic drainage, but it really is something that I've developed in the clinic that gives excellent results. If you want to really learn manual lymphatic drainage, please go to a dedicated school. Again, we're going to start just below the mastoid, and we're going to divide this technique in 3 different zones within the same region. Each time I place my hands, I'm going to do 5 half circles backwards. So, spot 1 under the mastoid, spot 2 mid sternocleidomastoid muscle, and spot 3 is going to be above the supraclavicular fossa. Good. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. And that's done a total of 3 repetitions. You and your patient can end with what are called long strokes from the mastoid process along the sternocleidomastoid to the sternal region. Now, if the patient's going to do it themselves, and you can try it on yourself, I like a kind of a crossed hand approach. So here I go, crossed hands, 3 half circles going backwards just below the mastoid, a new spot midway, about mid sternocleidomastoid muscle level, and then I do my back strokes in my supraclavicular fossa region, again, about 5 repetitions. And this is repeated 3 times. So when this is performed, it enhances the lymphatic flow throughout the entire region. And in cases of surgery, the lymphatics tend to get sluggish or stop completely as a result of the injury that occurs with surgery, and also due to excessive icing sometimes afterwards. So the patient can start this technique at home before surgery, and they should do it at least twice a day right after surgery. From the neck, we're going to move down to the leg. And the technique that I'm going to show you now is much more easily done by a different person. However, this particular patient was able to follow through with the home program, and as you can see, has done a magnificent job of managing swelling in this barely 3-week post-ACL surgical knee. So what we're going to recommend is that you and or a partner or spouse at home start this soft tissue technique in the region of the tourniquet. So that's going to be in the upper leg area. And what we're going to do is we're going to take thigh, knee, and lower leg, again, divided into 3 regions, and perform 5 semicircles on each. Now, right after surgery, you really want to avoid the surgical site. So we're going to demonstrate this primarily with pressure at the posterior aspect of the leg. So what we recommend is that the individual take 2 hands, go on either side of the top of the leg, and if you're uncomfortable going in the groin region, then at least go to the flexor region of the hip and the hamstring gluteal junction, and perform 3 to 5 nice big semicircles on either side of the IT band. From there, go mid-thigh, and again, 3 strokes, or I should say 5 strokes. And again, lower leg, these half circle, and then at the knee, we're going to divide the knee into 3 as well. So half circles, staying behind in acute post-surgical days, then mid posterior knee, and then the lower posterior knee. Then we'll follow with the lower leg. And further down, mid-leg, and finally the distal part of the lower leg. And the entire process is repeated 3 times. When you're done, perform here 2 long strokes from the ankle to the groin and gluteal region. We'll do 3 of those to finish the procedure. As the healing process continues, and if the patient can tolerate, for instance, we're working with the lower extremity here, but if the individual can tolerate, and let me know how this feels, for a little bit of support under the lower leg area, then we can work on gaining our terminal extension as well as performing our swelling drainage technique. And to do that, we can go a little bit deeper, particularly if you've noticed that there might be any pitting edema, or you're just really wanting to move out some of the swelling. Take some massage cream or some lotion, and here you can glide a little bit more vigorously, though not too vigorously, over the soft tissue structures. And this technique is best done in the 2nd and 3rd weeks and beyond. And again, you see I'm marking off 3 zones and repeating 5 semicircle movements at each level. A little bit more aggressive, but still very comfortable for the patient and very much moving the swelling out. Again, 3s and 5s. Divide each area into 3 regions. And here I'll go on the side. Five repetitions, 3 times, 3 sets, and then finish up here. Now we've got a little bit of lotion on the leg. We can be even a little bit more aggressive with pushing the swelling out. And if this can be performed regularly within the first 2 weeks, you're going to see a drastic reduction in swelling. From the leg, we go back to the neck and we repeat our techniques just as we started. Okay, we do this 3 times, then 5 long strokes.